Hi, my name is Christian. I'm one of the founders of Smart Pricer, and this is a video for any amusement park, opera house, theater house, museum, or mountain railway / ski resort that's questioning what's 2021 going to be like? What impact will COVID still have for 2021? What changes will it bring to my guest structure? And what can I do now in order to prepare for 2021 and secure my revenues? So, how have we approached this? We've spoken with more than 100 managers, and we've conducted more than 20 COVID impact analysis on real data. And what we found is 3 key trends: changed visitor behavior, reduced capacity, also in the long run, and finally, a massive digitization push. Now, let's look at trend number 1, changed visitor behavior. What does this mean? This really means that people are booking more locally, and this is here to stay at least for the midterm. Why? Many airlines expect intercontinental traffic to not rebound for the next 2 or 3 years. So it will take likely until 2023, 2024 before intercontinental traffic is where it used to be before COVID. This means all of your visitors are likely going to be more local, also in the midterm. Aspect number 2 is shorter term bookings. Taking the example of ski resorts, for example, we found many of them managed to increase the pre-booking times to days or weeks in advance because they've introduced dynamic pricing, because they've introduced web shops, which led to people booking much earlier because they got discounts for this. However, due to COVID, pre-booking times have actually gone down now by 80 to 90%. People don't book days or weeks in advance anymore, but just hours, possibly also 2 or 3 days. But this is what we saw in the data. And third aspect of changed visitor behavior is shorter stays. By shorter stays, we mean that people tend to not want to stay for too long, to commit for too long in a certain space. This was a trend that was already there before COVID, that vacation times got shorter from several weeks to often only several days. And we found that due to COVID, for example, again, ski resorts, average length of stay went down by 30 to 50%. People used to stay for 4 or 5 days. Now it's only 2 or 3 days on average. So there is a massive shift, and that's likely to remain. Looking at the second trend, reduced capacity. Reduced capacity may sound like something that goes away. And yes, to some extent it will. We know that regulation on a local and national level is likely to be eased and likely to be relaxed as the new vaccines kick in and as there's a certain immunization in the population. However, another aspect is not just regulation, but it's customer preferences. And those customer preferences, they're changing, and they have changed. And still in a year, 2 or 3, experts believe that people are still feeling awkward if somebody coughs or sneezes next to you in a crowded place that you don't know, right? So we expect that this reduced capacity is still going to be there and in place in 2 or 3 years because of changed customer preferences and because of the avoidance of large crowds and overfilled places. Coming to the third trend, digitization. Digitization really has 3 phases to it. This is before, during, and after the visit. Before the visit, we've seen that many smaller mountain railways, smaller museums, opera theater houses that didn't used to have web shops are now massively pushing online sales, are introducing web shops. And another thing we saw before the booking is time slot tickets. So in order to not have people come anytime during the day, time slot tickets are the norm, or becoming the norm, meaning that people have to commit to come, e.g. from 8 to 10 or from 10 to 12 or some other particular time of the day. Second thing we see when we look at digitization is a digitization of the experience. This can be in so-called hybrid events. So we've seen many festivals, operas, museums, they've started to digitize the content that they have. They started to digitize the shows, and then they make them available via streaming or via video on demand. And just to give you a number and an example, we spoke with a festival in Norway that used to have 25,000 physical visitors that now reaches more than 1 million people through their online presence, through their streaming. So this is a massive improvement and a massive increase of reach, because there is digital channels there that are being used in order to promote the event. And thirdly, digitization also happens after the visit, because with all of the data that's gathered through web shops, through apps, through streaming interaction, you can now reach many more people. You know them, and you can use this data for targeted marketing, for nurturing, for reactivating customers, and for making them come back. This was our take and our learnings out of many conversations, more than 100 conversations and more than 20 COVID impact analysis of real data. And we found as 3 trends: changed visitor behavior, reduced capacity, also for the longer term, and finally a massive digitization push. If you would like to know more how you can prepare for 2021 now and for these trends, check out our next video where we explain our 3-step COVID response plan. Thanks a lot for watching. If you'd like to know more, click below to reach out to us, or send me an email, christian@smart-pricer.com, christian@smart-pricer.com. Thanks a lot.